Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode. If you can't tell based on what I'm wearing, today we're here to talk about Jujutsu Kaisen Season 1. And as always, I have here my Jujutsu Sorcerers, Ramon
Hey guys.
and Raul.
Howdy, howdy.
And guys, I cannot be more excited to talk about this anime because I think this is one of the best animes that has ever been done. But before we start this review, there's something I gotta ask, and this is gonna define our friendship. But I need you guys to think about it and answer it right. But I need to know what's you guys' type of woman or man, and based on your answer, it's gonna really bother me. But to give you a little time to think about it, I'll tell you my perfect kind of woman, and that's a really tall girl with a big ass, sort of like a Jennifer Lawrence type clap. That's
There
my
you go.
kind of
Okay,
that's my kind of type of woman. What about you guys?
you totally want to be best friends with Toto. I see.
Dude, it's hilarious that Jennifer Lawrence really isn't tall.
I don't mind the pick though.
Are you guys avoiding
I
the
love
question?
all women.
Yeah,
Okay.
a little. I
All
mean,
I care about is personality.
I said if you were promising a friendship with Toto, that's a whole different story. But I know this is not going to end well, so I'm good.
All right. No, it's okay. We'll go back to it maybe at the end of the episode. But guys, I wasn't kidding, man. Jujutsu Kaisen for me, it's one of the best animes that if anybody was to say like, tell me an anime that I can start watching as my first anime ever, I would tell them like Jujutsu Kaisen's the very top of the list. But I can't wait to hear you guys' thoughts, Ramon. Like, why did you like Jujutsu Kaisen? I guess because tell us about a little bit about your history with this show.
You're new to this, so
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, for you guys listening, I'm pretty much like the baby in this group as far as like just the whole anime experience. And let's just put it this way: I watched the Jujutsu Kaisen movie before I watched the series, and so I just finished in this single week. I just finished the series and rewatched the movie, and I love it. So there you go. There was no problem there. No, yeah. Especially coming after watching some great things lately. I think it really holds up. Like, I think I definitely agree with you, Carlos. Like, it's probably one of the better anime that's out there. There's just so many great components to it. Like, I love the whole idea of the curses. It doesn't seem too exaggerated, the way that they manifest, the way that the sorcerers fight them. The way that some sorcerers don't even have like cursed energy that they can kind of manifest, so they use like cursed weapons. It's just a great world. Like, I was a little skeptical in the beginning, right? Because I was telling you guys, like, first episode you kind of start with like the same idea of like Naruto and the components, and you even have a guy Gojo who's like so similar to Kakashi Sensei, and then right away I'm like very doubtful. I was really a little nervous, especially because it's also in a school setting, and all these like things that just kind of slow it. But no, man, I finished the season, I rewatched the movie, and I love it. And I can't wait to find out what happens in season 2. And I can't wait to just talk about it today, just break down everything that we can, because I still have a lot of questions. So,
yeah. And I guess I'll say my part. So I saw it a couple years ago, because I was catching up to anime that everybody else had seen, and the first time that I saw it, I liked it a lot. And then I rewatched it for this, and I actually didn't like it as much in my rewatch. But like, I'll explain it. So I since I saw it the first time, I've seen a lot more anime that I hadn't seen. And then I even started watching One Piece, and something that I realized in my rewatch with Jujutsu Kaisen is that it's the pacing for this show is a lot faster. They don't go as in depth into everything, and then a lot happens in each episode. And I saw how related this is to Chainsaw Man, and because I also saw Chainsaw Man more recently too. So it's a lot. It's very much like a lot of other animes, but it goes pretty quickly. And I guess my issue with it is that I kind of just wish that they took their time a little bit more with the story, and with the like developing each thing, and doing a little bit more background and everything. But I will say it's completely on animation, it's amazing. I kind of seeing it again. I forgot how awesome the animation was for this show,
Yeah.
and it's amazing.
That's kind of crazy because they gave you almost 24 episodes on the first season, though, and it's almost unheard for a anime show nowadays to give you that many episodes for the first season specifically. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
man, I'm surprised you even kind of said that. But I'm gonna mimic some of your feelings, Ro. Like the first time I ever heard about the show, I remember being like, Jujutsu Kaisen, winner of the best anime for the year it came out. And all I would see was like a picture of Gojo, and I'm like, what the fuck is this Jujutsu Kaisen? Like it can't be this good. Like nothing's this good. I watched
Yeah.
it, probably binged it all in like, if not a day, maybe 2 days, because it just goes so fast, man. And it's one of
So
those shows
fast.
that it just wants you to like go to the next episode and go to the next episode. It never gives you that break. It never takes off the foot from the gas pedal. So it's just like you're constantly watching it. And I remember like when I first had my first watch of it, like Ro, like I sort of didn't really like Itadori that much. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you my feelings why. But I remember
Mm-hmm.
just being like, okay, that was a great show with a lot of great characters, but the main character himself didn't do nothing for me. Like I'm over him. But dude, on my rewatch, I don't know if it's because this time I was watching it with English boys, and at first I was kind of like, oh, like Itadori sounds so much different with his English, voice actor. It was a little bit more like a Naruto teenager voice, where I think in the Japanese version, that's a little bit more like an adult. And dude, even after I got off the first episode, like he grew on me, and it's almost like I started enjoying the show because it felt to me like Itadori really enjoyed being part of this world and
Oh
helping
yeah.
out and being on the next level. And all of a sudden, I'm like, holy shit, did I just become an Itadori fan? So like here I am, like wearing his hoodie just because I think he is a great protagonist. And dude, this show does a lot of things that we'll touch on them, but it does a lot of great things that I feel like it's watch other animes and be like, hey, a lot of shows do this. They always explain to you the reason why we like, hey, Ramon, I'm fighting you, and I'm gonna explain to you my attack for no reason. Like, why would you tell him
Oh yeah.
your secret attack when it's like your one card that can help you win this match? But this shows it's like I'm telling to you because now that you know it, it's gonna be even twice as effective. So it's like I love shit like that about this anime, man. So I can't say like enough things about it. But that was it, man. I don't know where you guys want to pick it up from there, but we can start from the
I,
beginning or
no,
the middle or the end.
no, and to piggyback from that a little bit too, I kind of still a little bit kind of have that issue of like I still don't understand the motivation for Itadori because like, they made it so that like his grandpa died like
Yeah.
in the beginning of the show, and he wants to make sure that people die the right way, but then I don't know, like it seems kind of out there and like not.
I
I don't
I
know.
just
Like it doesn't seem like enough, or like he really
I wanna
cares.
I wanna understand why he's so strong, and I don't know if that is gonna be eventually like a
Mm-hmm.
secret or a reveal, or if it's just gonna be like, no, this kid's just been naturally always gifted, but he can't be that. But that's the one thing about Itadori too. Like, I just want to know why he's so physically more capable than anybody else.
Well, I mean, like the whole show starts with him just being like a good guy. Like, I mean, he's part of that occult club, and that to me won me over already. Because like I even grew up like in elementary school, I was part of an occult club. Like, imagine a few like 9 year olds like running around the school, imagining you could see ghosts and like skeletons, and totally. Oh my god, yeah. I
That
mean,
was
and
a thing.
you wonder why I am the way I am. Yes, sir. No, I wasn't saying
I've
it was
seen your
sanctioned by.
paintings. No.
I wasn't saying it was sanctioned by the school. I'm just saying there was a few of us,
Oh,
and I think it was based around the scary stories to
running
tell in the
around with
dark.
Sage.
Yeah, no, not Sage, but other stuff. No, yeah. So it's like even just seeing that component of him, right? Because like that whole story in the beginning really captivated me because here he is, he's in this club, he's kind of not a little lazy, but obviously he didn't sign up the whole right way, which gets him in trouble right away. And I was just thinking of the whole idea that he's like, no, I clearly want to be part of the cult club. Like this is where I want to be. That coach guy wants him to be like in like in freaking track or whatever
Track
because
team.
clearly
Yeah.
he's super strong and stuff like that. So right away I was like really introduced to this like complex guy, and I'm like, clearly he's like athletic, right? So the coach and people want him to be athletic and do these things, but he's more into the weird shit. I'm like, yeah, that's my type of person. Like you can be physically able, but then you're into some weird shit. Like, yeah, I'll take it. And no, and then like right away, like that whole first thing where those classmates get attacked, and then yeah, like you said, Carlos, without any provocation besides like the grandpa's story, he goes in there with no powers whatsoever, and he like acts like a hero because he cares about the people. So I guess that's what it is for me. It's like he won me right over because I immediately thought of like he's a good guy. they don't introduce any kind of parent figure or besides the grandfather, and to me that was enough because I'm like, oh, maybe like that's the way it is. Like he doesn't have anybody but his grandpa. Yeah, his grandpa's like a grouchy old man he wants to be left alone until the moment that he's dying, and he's trying to make him understand some life lessons. So it's like, I don't know. To me, I guess it seemed like the show didn't need to tell you that he had gone through it, but that he was basically in a weird situation. He was going to be left alone, so to speak. And I think it is his only way to go forward. And I don't know. To me, it made sense. I don't think I wanted to know more. I think maybe, I guess you could know more and it would just make it better. But I don't know.
Yeah, like
beat some other characters,
Yeah, and the first episode also has like Fushiguro, which you can kind of blame everything that happened on him because he was like wanting to talk. He wanted to talk to Itadori, but Itadori was too fast. And I'm like, dude, you could have used Kurt's level energy to like catch up to him, or do one of your birds to like fly closer to him. But the whole idea that he just kind of like wasn't able to catch up to him, wasn't able to talk to him, wasn't able to stop him. It's a little bit of his fault. And back to the whole comparison between Chainsaw Man in this show, man. Like, you cannot tell me that Aki and him aren't so alike. They're just like the way they look, personality wise. But I gotta say, man, like if you're, especially that I know what happens in Chainsaw Man. I don't know anything about this. This is one manga that I have not read, but I want to say that I think if I had a choice, I think Fushiguro is a lot cooler than my man Aki, and I love Aki, but I do like him a lot, and I love his like shadow jutsu. I think it's like the coolest thing, and there's so many cool characters, man. Like, honestly, you're gonna be surprised when I tell you who my favorite character is, because you would be like, "Why?" But I do see there's a lot of thirsty people out there for him, so I know there's people like they would back my choice up.
Well, I like their bond they had right away. Like, he hasn't told us yet. I think that's a question for later, for sure. But yeah, I like Itadori's and a teaser. You guys ready? If you want to find out, stick around.
Keep listening.
Keep listening. No, but with Fushiguro and freaking Itadori, like, I love their relationship from the beginning, right? Because like Fushiguro doesn't mean any kind of harm. He's not jealous from the beginning, but he's really curious by him, and obviously treats him like not a child, but he treats him like, yeah, of course he's not a sorcerer, so like stay down there, don't do anything to help. And then just seeing freaking Itadori jump to that occasion and save his classmates, like, I don't know, I think he won the respect from the beginning. He won my respect because I'm like, okay, cool, I don't get his deal. It's another one of those situations where, yeah, why is he strong? Why is he fast? But I don't care. Like, okay, cool. He's as good as the sorcerer, at least in, like, he's not, like, he's fearless. But I don't know. I like the way that he was taken in from the beginning. And I think the beginning of the series, seeing that relationship kind of increase, even before they meet their third classmate, it was pretty great to kind of see them, like, already have some kind of bond. Because I think, friends, that friendship thing always helps in these stories. It's like, just propel you forward by trying to be better than your, like, teammate.
Yeah. So from what you guys said, it to me, it kind of seems more that he's like your typical good guy that gets stuck, like, doing good things, and that's how he ends up where he ends up. Yeah. Where he tries to save his classmates from the cursed spirit, and then he ends up going to Jujutsu High because he ate the finger or whatever, and then he's perpetually doing good things, so that he ends up kind of continuing to he ends up continuing to stay in that situation because he keeps wanting to do good, and then he makes friends with them, and then he wants to, like, protect them or whatever.
Yeah. I understand.
That seems like his whole motivation.
Yeah, I understand the whole thing with Sukuna and how they're trying to build it up to, like, Itadori has to eat all these fingers so that this guy, they can find a way to, like, extinguish him. But I don't know if I'm sold on him yet, man. Like, I like some of the things that he did, especially when we get to Mahito later on. But I don't know if I'm sold on him potentially being, like, the end goal bad guy, because I don't know how that's exactly is gonna work with Itadori, him having, like, looking the same and even sharing the same body. So I don't know what that's gonna look like. I mean, that first episode just has so much meat to it, man. That's the crazy thing about this show. And, like, we haven't even gotten about the second episode, and we haven't even talked about, like, Gojo. I don't think we should do, like, a Kakashi thing. And Naruto thing, but we didn't bring Kakashi up to, like, 45 minutes into the conversation. I think we need to talk about Gojo.
There's reasons for that.
It's just Gojo, dude. Like, I don't think I've ever met an anime character in a show where, like, I can say, like, nobody can defeat this guy. Like, this guy just seems like...
I don't like it.
It's so weird, but it's so weird. Yeah, like the whole idea, like even Goku gets his ass whooped constantly, always trying to improve because there's always somebody stronger than him. With Gojo, it's like I don't sense that anything in this world can hurt him. Like he even jokes around all the time, like I should just assassinate all these like higher ups so I can do my own thing because they're all old and don't know what the hell they're talking about. So it's like Gojo's such an interesting character, and like it goes back to the whole Kakashi sense that you get from him.
Yeah, but at least with Kakashi Sensei, you see him get his ass whooped a couple times, right? Like, yes, Kisame is one of the guys that's like ultimate, like, good fights between, I mean, Obito later on. Like, all these fights, like,
Itachi.
plenty of fights, Itachi, like, plenty of fights where, like,
Yeah.
you know, he's clearly struggling. And even towards the end of, like, Naruto, he's clearly saying that, hey, these people are going to ultimately be better than me. And even though Gojo does say that about Yuta and Itadori, like, it's still, like, and it does. Like I don't love that part about. I think that's the one biggest complaint, and not a diss on Gojo because he's still badass. He's beautiful. Like every time he freaking takes his blindfold off, I'm like, okay, you're gorgeous. But no, I mean, other than that, it is something weird about like knowing that he's the ultimate best dude ever, and even curses know this, right? Like
It's weird to start with like the good guys already having the ultimate like weapon and his whole like infinity thing, like you can't touch him, like it's so freaking cool.
Gojo is pretty much the Superman of this world because it's kind of like that's what pretty much everyone in the DC world says about Superman, that if he wasn't like a good guy, like he would like he could destroy the world, or kind of like Invincible with Omni-Man, which he ends up kind of wanting to do. But yeah, like that's the whole point. Like Gojo is Superman in this world.
Well, what's his kryptonite? And I mean, we'll maybe find out, man. Because I mean, you can't have this like even One Punch Man. The whole joke behind him is like one punch and he kills you. Even One Punch throughout the series, the manga, he has some incredible fights with like some super higher beings that I can't even explain to you what they are. So it'd be really cool to eventually do meet somebody that can take on Gojo, or some introduction of how to get somebody to power up to be able to take on Gojo, because you know that fight's going to be incredible. But yeah, man, like that's my take on Gojo. Just the coolest. Want to see more of him. If anything, I'm just disappointed that he can never have a true one-on-one match because he's just so powerful.
Yeah.
Dude, and the one thing that I realized when I saw the movie right now, they mentioned that, well, at least in the prequel time period, that there was only 4 special grade Jujutsu sorcerers. And I'm guessing Gojo's one of them. I don't know who the other 3 are, but I'm guessing Gojo is one of 4.
I think it's based on the movie. It sounds like their ancestors, they come from like this blood lineage of like super powerful like sorcerers, right? And I have a question. I'm gonna do a roll thing and raise my hand. Like, can Gojo teleport, man? Because there's that one episode where he teleports to get Itadori and then brings him right back. But then like there's another episode later on where like he's running towards the action rather than teleporting there. So it's like, I don't know if it's one of those things like Naruto's dad, which he has to like mark you and then he can teleport to you, or like can he teleport at all?
It might be like a spell thing, because in the movie he did the same thing where he teleported the 2 students, Panda and the speech user guy. That he did that with the both of them.
Oh no, definitely. So one of the characters, guys, that I really love in this show is Kugisaki. She's like the female third in the group, almost like the Sakura or the Power in Chainsaw Man. But I think she's a lot cooler than both of those people. I think she's somebody that like definitely has the skills to like take on a special grade or take on any kind of curse level. They're not demons, but any kind of them on her own. And I really like a lot of things about her. I like the fact that she likes to go shopping. She likes to like eat. She's being able to like call you on your bullshit up front. I just think like if I could have like a girl that I could hang around in school all the time, like she would be cool, because she would also like protect my ass against like bullies and stuff. But Ramon, what did you think about it? You thought she was cool?
That's all you want. You want protection. No, well, I mean, like I told you again, one of these things of one of the initial impressions of the show was just the relations to how it reminded me of like Naruto, and then yes, Kugisaki did remind me of Sakura. That was very true, mostly because of like anytime someone would say something stupid, she's the first one to freaking bonk them in the head, or kind of shut them up. And I do love that about her, but unlike Miss Useless Sakura, which I love her, but again, not as impactful, I think Kugisaki is so awesome and like she's so strong. Again, one of the first initial impressions we get of her is like after we meet her, and like her and Itadori are both like super crazy about like downtown Tokyo, and they're like fanboys about like anything pop culture. So yes, with the shopping and everything, it was kind of great to know she was that way. But no, yeah, like once you see her be tested in that one scene where her and Itadori get sent into that one building, and she ultimately ends up like kind of doing a hostage situation with the one curse that has a kid. You see her like freaking awesome power, right? Not only does she have a freaking hammer and nails, but then ultimately she busts out this freaking voodoo doll, and it's just like an amazing power that I didn't expect, right? Just the fact that she's able to take any part of like the curse, any physical, I guess, part of it, but not even that. Like later on, we find out that she could even do like whole body parts, like all extra things. But as long as she has a connection or a piece of that, she's able to connect it to that voodoo doll or by itself with her freaking hammer and nails. And Raul's saying do drugs, but I'm saying no. Like after that, after that, like she does that and like spikes come out and all this stuff. And I do love that Gojo at that moment was waiting for that kind of test. And I know Fushiguro was like, he was like ready to rush in, and she proved herself. Like she proved herself. Like that one curse was like flying out the window, and she freaking busted out. And then he's like, oh, she is a little crazy. And so I don't know. I think she's a really good combination for the team. She does like freaking stand her own. She's really strong. A little hot-headed, but she's pretty cool.
Ro, if I had to tell you like what kind of domain expansion she's gonna get, like what would you think like hers would be? Like we have an idea of like what everybody else can do in the team, or at least some of them. What do you think her domain expansion would be? Like I just kind of like thinking in my head, would it be like all of a sudden you're in Home Depot and there's all these like hardware tools for you to like grab? Like what does it look like?
Dude, honestly, I see it more kind of like a doll store. Where there's like a ton of voodoo dolls everywhere, and then she can just like shoot the nails randomly, and it hits random dolls in different parts, and then that's when it's like hurting the thing. And like I kind of see it more kind of like a finisher from Mortal Kombat in some ways.
Dude, that's perfect, Ro. I'm glad I threw that to you. Like, yeah, if it's not that, then I don't want it.
Yeah, you do.
Domain expansion. Yeah, go ahead.
No, but like I will say like I do like her too. I think she adds like a different personality to the group. She definitely seems capable. She does seem weaker than the other two. But that's just because Fushi Shadow Man, he he seems that he has like a lot more potential that he's not aware of.
Yeah.
And then obviously with Itadori, like he's the Naruto main character of this whole thing that's gonna be probably become Gojo's strength or stronger.
With Fushiguro, I mean, they already hinted that he's the son of somebody who used to be like the clan leader of this Jujutsu Sorcerers. So like he definitely has like a reason or motivation to like keep moving forward or trying to be even the best. I mean, he has that one fight scene with the other. What is it? Oh, I mean,
because the Nara clan's trying to like gain up or whatever, status, and they lost their status.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just like one of those things where, like, depending on your child, it's like, it's almost like if your child's born and they don't have any kind of cool curse energy or anything kind of cool, but it's just like, oh, like all of a sudden your clan might disappear because your successor's not that powerful. So I like this idea that like you have to have like multiple children because you have to get it right. You have to get the right one to succeed you. So I like that. And Ramon, the quick thing that I was going to tell you, I know that I took you to see this movie before you saw the show, and something that I was very disappointed with the movie is that in the Jujutsu Kaisen movie, they never do one freaking domain expansion. But now that you saw a domain expansion being done multiple times, like, what did you think about it, man? Isn't it like the coolest?
It is the coolest. I love the idea. I love the theory of it, right? And I'll say theory because they say that they explain to it as domain expansion is basically like, a kind of world within itself that guarantees a hit. But then how many domain expansions happened and never got hit because someone would break in, like right was where Itadori broke into the one that freaking dude was doing, and then later on Gojo too breaks into one of them, or like So, anyways, but yes, I love the idea, especially seeing it. Who was the first one that did it in the show?
I mean, I think
But
it was
Was it
Gojo
Gojo?
because when we were talking about him teleporting
oh yeah,
Itadori, Gojo brought him in and kind of like he was like, "Don't worry about it. Like you're totally protected because you're next to me." And like that volcano guy was so pissed off because it's like, "I
oh
got
yeah,
you."
you're right.
He's like, "I got you," and like, how are you still even standing? Because the temperature here is like over 1,000 degrees. It was just so funny that like Gojo's like, "You want to see a real domain expansion? Like here's mine."
So that's a thing, right? Like if someone's domain expansion is stronger than the other one, it overtakes it because that's what happened in that scene. Yeah, like they're fighting Jojo or Jogo the
Gojo.
Gojo.
volcano guy.
Oh, the volcano guy.
Oh, the volcano guy.
Jogo the volcano guy. Yeah, they're fighting. I was always laughing because it was the names were so similar, and I was just like, man, how am I ever going to speak about these two fighting each other? But yeah, they're fighting each other, and then he does the volcano domain expansion, and then yeah, Gojo actually comes out and he does his, and he obliterates his. So I was like, oh dang. So that was one of the first times that I was like, oh man. So maybe it is based on power, and who's the stronger overtakes another domain expansion. But that was pretty cool. I did like Mahito's domain expansion
Dude,
with
that
the
was the
hands,
coolest. Dude,
especially how it
yes.
Mhm.
starts inside his mouth and like he has the little hands in there, and then it grows up and comes out. But another one that
Yeah.
got interrupted because freaking Itadori fell
Itadori
in,
broke
and
in.
then
Yeah.
Sukuna just freaking
Well,
was like, bitch.
well, dude,
Ugh.
I'm not gonna wait the audience wait anymore. My favorite character, and maybe favorite. He's sharing that spot with maybe somebody else, but dude, I like Kento. He's the guy that's like a detective, the guy that like was a Jujutsu sorcerer, left to work like broker, a stockbroker, and then he became a cop, and he's still working with
Oh,
the Jujutsu.
Nanami, yeah.
Yeah, like him, Nanami, Kento Nanami, like he was the one that I kind of like saw myself in him because I thought he was just so cool, and I understand like, hey, like why do I want to do this? Like in reality, I just want to live a chill life, get some money, retire. But then he still has that kind heart where he wants to help out people. And you kind of see that with the girl that's selling him like either bread or a sandwich in the morning. So he kind of like, hey, step over here, and he just kind of gets rid of that curse for her. But I like him, man. I think he's very powerful. I don't know if he has a domain expansion, but I do like his whole ability of like, hey, I can mark
37.
you. Yeah, I can mark you and get it at the perfect critical point, and it's gonna do twice as damage. And I like that a lot about him. So that was like my favorite character. And the only reason why I brought him up now is because Mahito almost killed him. Like he was like, oh shit, I guess this is where I die.
Dude,
uh,
I do have a question though, because I think it was mentioned when he was fighting because like he has like a weird thing where he like at 5 he's done because that's
oh
the
yeah,
normal work hours 8 hours,
he's like,
and
I'm going
then
to overtime.
when he went into overtime, uh, the other guy mentioned that he got faster. So like, does he get more powerful when he's in overtime? Or like how does that work? Is that like a weird, kind of like
Coincidence?
the Hunter x Hunter where he like makes an agreement with the thing, or he sets conditions to it, and then it like gives him more powers,
I
or
didn't
what's the
think
thing?
so. I didn't think of it that way. I think it really truly was playing into the whole he's taking it as a 9 to 5, right? And
Yeah.
so like, but because he is into overtime at that point, he doesn't want to be there. So then he's just kind of like he has to go all out. He has to go stronger and faster to finish it
Mhm.
because he is overtime. So like he doesn't want to pay himself. He's like, you know what? I can't overwork. So the faster we're done with this, the faster I get to go home. I thought that was
Mhm.
hilarious because yes, like you
Yeah.
were saying, Carlos, like he had a really cool concept to him because yeah, like at first he wanted not anything to do with the school after a while, right? Like after he was there, didn't want to do that. Like he found a job, he started working in finance, like he's doing all these things, and then he doesn't really want to be a part of it, but he knows he is. Like, isn't he like a first grade? He's like a first grade. He's one of
Yeah.
the almost one of the strongest ones,
Mhm.
and he knows his responsibility even to the point where he is basically babysitting Itadori based on Gojo's like kind of recommendation. And I don't know, that whole interaction with him is great. Yeah, even in his flashback with that bakery girl, like that first couple times, he's like he didn't want to do anything about it. He just kind of let her carry that freaking curse on her shoulders, and then ultimately like he just starts thinking like, wait, if I can help people, it's the same thing. It's like, why wouldn't I, right? So I think I love that he changes that. I love the fact that he teaches Itadori about the Black Flash, and helps him develop that. And then not only that, when you watch the Jujutsu Kaisen movie, you see him do it the 4 times that he talks about
He
in the show.
does? Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, see,
I missed
because
it.
yeah, because in the show, right, he says to
Yeah.
like, oh, the Black Flash is like special, like no one's done it more than like 4 times. That's the record. I'm the one who's like has that record for the 4 times. Yeah, and then when I was watching the movie, like he does do it, like with one of the bigger curses that comes.
Yeah,
he does it, and I counted, and I even rewind it, and I counted 4 times.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but like it didn't hit me that was the Black Flash thing.
So freaking awesome.
You just gave me a reason to actually want to go back and watch the movie. So there you go. That's what I needed.
Yeah.
Well, then I guess I'll go into who my favorite one is, and I think it's such a cool power that he has. But my favorite's the cursed speech user.
Oh, hell yeah!
I think that is so freaking cool. The what Toge Inumaki. But dude, it's so freaking cool. Like,
I think
the only bad thing is that like it seems that it really drains a ton from him, but it's so freaking cool.
Yeah.
No, I think I think he's meant to be one of the people that you just quickly fall in love with. And I think when you were trying to say his name, you were trying to say salmon or shrimp or
salmon.
Yeah, you were trying to say something like that because that's how you would say his name. But I think the whole idea of yes, let's do like 5 minutes of just throwing ingredients, Pokeball. But no, I think his whole idea behind he can never talk to you in sentences because he might accidentally tell you that something like go fuck yourself, and then you're grabbing something and going hard on yourself.
Going crazy on myself.
So I like that about him, and I think you are meant to like him, and he's one of my favorites. But I want to see more of him for sure.
I like that he was promoted before the rest of his team because wasn't he promoted to like 3rd or 2nd grade, where freaking Maki and the Panda are not, and so. I think it was one of those cool things, right? And I think, again, watching the movie, and again, I know we were like, oh, yeah, let's talk about the series, but I don't know. Yeah, definitely rewatch the movie again. And if you guys haven't seen the movie, watch the movie because they demonstrate more of his abilities in the movie. And I really like just being able to see more action out of him other than him just fighting one guy. Because that one scene when he's fighting all the little fishy curses and then he just says explode or whatever he says and they all just kind of like pulverize. I like the fact that he has to get throat medicine at that point because he's like clearly he gets a sore throat after all that. But no, he's definitely a good one.
That's a movie, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. But
what's your favorite one, Ramon? I mean, we're at it. Like, what do you like? Say Toto.
So no, I'm not gonna say Toto just because of his weird obsession with that one celebrity girl. That's the thing that kills it about him. You know what? But since we're on the topic, I do love Toto. I love the idea that he freaking imagined the whole thing of him and Itadori being best friends. Like, I agree. Cool. We're going to be best friends now based on your answer and because he probably sees the potential. But dude makes up a whole story about them being like best friends in elementary school and all this stuff. And Itadori's like, what, dude? I never went to school with you. Like, what are you talking? I just met you. But I do love like what he does for him, right? Because he really takes him under his wing and he really trains with him, and he's there, and then ultimately he helps him with that one big forest curse. So that was great. But no, he's not my favorite. And I was really contemplating. Someone that I really liked a lot is Maki. I don't know if she's my favorite, but I just so far she's like the closest one to my favorite, and only because she's another person with a lot to prove, right? Like she left her clan. She left her clan because she doesn't have the curse energy. Like she's not able to herself manifest any kind of curse energy. So instead she has to use like cursed weapons. And so again, she wanted to prove her family that she can become a sorcerer, that she doesn't need that, and she left them, which kind of sucks because then she left her twin sister behind, which then her twin sister now has resentment towards that. But I love her fighting skills, man. Oh my goodness, she's so freaking awesome at fighting. Not only just the ability of like different weapons that she can use, but again, someone else that's kind of like very jokingly feared throughout the groups because everybody's like, oh, watch out for Maki. Like, oh, she's another hothead. But, again, I love the idea that she does have something to prove. And whether she kind of abandoned her sister or not, like her ultimate plan is no matter what, I'm going to overcome these odds, even though I don't have that special like power and I'm gonna do it. Kind of just like freaking Rock Lee. Oh, maybe that's why, because it's like Rock Lee, man. Like you know, can't do jujutsu.
I was about to say that. I was about to say that she's the Rock Lee of this show.
And I love Rock Lee. Like, Rock Lee is definitely one of my favorite ones. So that's but that's what I'm saying. But that's what it is. It's the whole like trying to prove yourself when the odds are against you, right? This is someone that again you don't have that special skill, but there you are in the freaking middle of it all, like being one of those. And I love that she got promoted at the end of the show, or she was suggested for promotion.
Yeah, dude. If you go to Amazon, they have like a nice $20 statue of her, Ramon, that I think you should definitely get. And I do like Maki a lot. I think if there was like a captain in the team, like she would be it. Like if there's one of these guys that like really wants to be the clan leader, like I see her being that role because she's so determined, and I like her attitude of being like, hey, you want me to just be a simple maid? You see me as garbage. You don't want to do anything with me. Like, fuck you. I'm going to leave and I'm going to become the best and I'm going to come back and I'm going to like mop the floor with all of you. So I like that attitude about her. And they also, like, her twin sister did hint at the fact though that she also has super strength, or a little bit more like strength than everybody else. They just don't want to acknowledge that that's like her specialty, the fact that she's a little bit stronger, almost like maybe Itadori. But I like the fact, and it's kind of interesting, the fact that she can't even see curse like energy, or so she needs the glasses. So it's like that's kind of cool, but it's also kind of makes me nervous that what will happen if she's ever in a battle and those glasses accidentally break or come off. Like, what is she gonna do where she can't see her enemy? So that's something that I'm more interested in, hopefully the show playing with. But great choice, Ramon. Like, definitely 100%. I do not resent you for not saying Toto, because that's also a great answer. And really quick, the only thing I want to say about the movie, I hated how the movie never gave Toto that fight scene, because they talk about it in the show. Toto is somebody that during that special Halloween night, he proved himself to be so incredible, so strong, so powerful. And then we see the Jujutsu Kaisen movie, and they don't even like show you anything that he was like. I don't even know if he was in it, or they maybe gave you one scene with him.
Well,
but it's like, dude, like, come on. You hinted at the fact that he just did so many incredible things. Like, give it to us. Like, another complaint that it's just like these animators need to step away from the manga and just write their own battles if the manga didn't do them, because the manga didn't know they were going to be like, you know, a live action anything. So it's just like, dude, just go a little bit extra with your animation.
I thought it was on a hate Toto.
No, yeah, because I think that they mentioned that he beat like a special grade and like two or three first grade curses, like on his own, and then on top of like a ton of like second and third or whatever.
It's fun. It's funny because the main guy from the movie gets, like, you know, in this season, he gets a lot of mentions, and like I remember always, like, in the first time I didn't really catch it, or I really didn't care, but now watching this season, I'm like, oh shit, like they are always hinting to him. So I want to see how he's gonna play around with Itadori, because I don't know how his role is gonna fit in the group, because we're also led to believe that he's kind of like a Gojo type, like very powerful, very strong. Nobody can mess with him. So I'm a little bit interested to see more of that dynamic.
Well, again, watching everything so recently, I think that's one of the things that just sticks out to me is the fact that Gojo himself says that both Yuta, him, and then Itadori are both the two people that can surpass him ultimately. So it's kind of weird, like you said, because you have kind of two main characters, obviously one from the movie and then one from the show. But it's like, you know, Yuta's still alive. Like, he's still there with the dude Miguel, or that one guy who was like an enemy, and I don't even know how they ended up together and why they're like cool with each other now. But you know, he's over there with him, so he's still alive. So yeah, I mean, there will be a point where they're gonna have to like kind of work together. And my thing after rewatching the movie was just the whole idea of like, I didn't like Yuta in the movie, and I still kind of don't, because he reminded me very much of Shinji in Evangelion, another whiny little wimpy baby who won't freaking step up.
He looks like him.
He looks like him too, yeah. And then he took forever to really develop into who he was. And I'm kind of happy he's not the main character in the actual series, because I can't imagine watching another series with another whiny ass like main character who's supposed to be like a super strong and powerful. Yes, of course, let him be super strong and powerful now, but I'm just saying, if I had to watch a whole series of just him whining around, I do really love the story about him and Rita, the girlfriend curse and stuff like that. But, you know, again, I can't wait to see how he comes back, but I think Itadori just beat, like, he won me over, and I think it is just because he has Sukuna, right? And there is that conflict of like he has a catch-22 of like the only way to survive is to eat the fingers and die ultimately, or like die right away. So it's like, he's clearly just fighting to prevent as many other deaths as he can. I don't know. Like, we always go back to him because he's always like the one that you're like, well, shit, he's still the main character in the show, and his main thing right now is eating fingers. So it's like, gotta catch them all, like collect all their fingers. I don't know.
He's only and the one thing also that I want to make sure that we do mention in this episode, like my favorite arc of the whole show is that dude that kept being bullied, and then he ended up seeing the other dude that made the cursed spirits or whatever, or turn people into cursed spirits.
Mahito?
And then in the school, and then that ended up dying or whatever. I don't know how they did it. Like the first time that I saw it, like that arc got me so hard. Like I felt it. Like I felt that super hard the first time that I saw it, and like I loved it. Like I don't know how they hooked me with this kid so quickly, and then
so quickly.
That was the thing that I liked about Itadori, is that he so carelessly cared about this dude. Like he knew, like off the bat, like, all right, I'm gonna be cool with you, because he's just a great person. And then I don't know, it hit me.
I think it was like awesome because there's a scene of when he finally, like, they get a hold of Junpei, that's his name. They get a hold of Junpei, and then it's just Itadori and Junpei, and they're sitting there. And he's like, "Well, I shouldn't trust you because I still don't know how you're connected to this whole curse thing." But then he's just like trying to be friends with him at the same time too. But then they start talking about movies. And I love that because I'm like, fuck yeah, he should be one of us. Like both Itadori and Junpei should be like hanging out with us and talking with us. But no, like I think that that is that first arc, or that first part that really makes you, like, Itadori, like, really acknowledge the fact that he does have to kill ultimately, right? Like whether it's like for a period, like he has to kill. Luckily, it is curses, because that's the same part that ultimately leads to freaking what's his name, the guy with the stitches all over, the curse manifestation.
Mahito. Whenever you have trouble remembering Mahito, just say Mojito, and if you call him Mojito, I wouldn't even be mad at you. Just call him Mojito. He's just he's a cool guy.
That's hilarious. But but no, like that guy was so like freaking, I hated him. But and related to Junpei, before we go to Mahito, was just the whole idea that he does turn these people, their souls, into like curses, and then ultimately, like, Itadori does have to deal with that, right? Like he does have to kill like a curse, and whether it's a human or not, like he just has to do it. But with Junpei, it sucks because that was the first loss that he faced, that it was like he was attached to, right? Because he spent that whole night with him and the mother. They had a good time. They kind of became friends. Like the mom really appreciated him. And then, he doesn't kill him, but he ultimately has to witness Junpei die in front of him when freaking Mahito turns him into a freaking curse. And I hated the way that he looked too. But yeah, that was sad. And then he cries like right there. He's like, "Save me, Itadori," and he can't. Like he just can't do it. I almost thought he was gonna come back somehow. Like I just couldn't imagine that they killed him off right away. But
yeah, like I felt like they would have found a way to like turn him back into a human being. And I like the fact that I don't know if it was Mahito that just unlocked his curse energy, because Itadori is like, "Hey, you'll come back with me and you'll be part of the group, and we'll grow together." So I almost like, it's almost like I saw that future, but it clearly got taken away from us, because then Mahito just kind of being an asshole, like he just kills or like transforms him. Yeah, dude, it's so crazy. And I mean, we haven't really talked about these special grades and what they represent, because I think Mahito almost represents like humanity, right? Like he's kind of like the fear in humanity. And it's so crazy watching him like almost be a newborn baby and slowly being stronger, more powerful, learning about his own abilities. So I think he's somebody that's gonna like, I mean, we already some really great fight scenes with him. So I don't know what the future is gonna hold with him.
Yeah, those guys are cool, man. All those curses, because like, I think I texted you, or maybe I don't even know, multiple times that we talked, but I think it was like, oh, it was so cool finding out that they're like the representations and curses of like the people's fear in like people and like earth and fire and water, which we haven't seen the water curse fight or do anything. Yeah, but like what's his name? The Gojo, not Gojo, the Mojo or whatever his name is, the volcano guy was pretty cool in the beginning, like right, like he had some cool abilities. Oh, Yoko, I fucking, he was a freaking menace. Like he burned burned that whole restaurant when you first got introduced, and before you even saw him fight, like I was like, dude, this guy is fucking crazy. Because that scene had me confused. It was the beginning, the introduction to these guys, and here you go, like this curse just freaking sets a whole restaurant. Like, and the one guy that kind of recognized the curse energy, he just
he's like, I'm leaving. Like, this cannot end good. And I mean, right call on him, man, 100%.
I know I'm a boss in my job, but man, if anyone ever did that to me, I'd be like, wait, what? Should I leave too? Like, curse energy, let's go. And it just run out of there. No, and then obviously by the end of the series, you see what's his name? What's her name? The curse energy that represents like forests and stuff.
The mother, like Mother Earth. Yeah.
Hanami, yeah. And she was really cool too. Another one that kind of started really slow, but then ultimately like did some really, really cool stuff.
Did it surprise that she had like a woman's voice? Because obviously her manifestation, it doesn't look like a woman, or like, if it is, like, excuse me, but did that surprise you at all? Like you see this core, like, like she almost looks like a monster from like Hellraiser, So it's just kind of like so creepy that all of a sudden you find that she has like this motherly nature, because again, I think like she's a representation of Earth. So I thought that was kind of like a cool twist to her character. He could have been just some very generic like I talk like this, but it was just like this very very sweet, like woman, like woman. I don't know. I like that. Somebody come on, take me.
No, I mean, but I think you said it right. I think it is because she's a representation of like Mother Nature. It made complete sense, but I think besides Rika, but that was in the movie, I hadn't seen any like female curses, and I think maybe that's part of the reason why they used to assume that all these curses either sound like freaking monsters or just like sound like a dude, right? And even like people like Mahito, who are like sweet young kids, like still sound like a little feminine, but clearly you haven't seen anybody that's like a female curse. And she was the first one, and I mean, I loved her, especially once she starts fighting, because then you see her connection with Earth and her abilities are just like, I don't know. I mean, fire's too easy, so freaking dude, whatever. But like with the Earth, like her abilities were cool. I'm sad I didn't see more of her before she got whooped. But again, Gojo interrupted everything and she had to leave. So
yeah, no. Well, I mean, Mahito tells her like, hey, lean more into being a cursed spirit, or like have more fun with it. So like I like that she's like, oh, I actually had fun fighting that, and I want to do it again. So it's like I feel like these manifestations are just going to continue to like level up and be even stronger. I mean, they have to, man, they have to.
And even her ability with the
they're all still alive too, so
none of them.
It's one of those where like you see them be pretty much almost dead, and then there's like just the head being by itself, like they're able to like recover whole body with just having the head.
Yeah. Have you guys seen any like trailers for the second season? Because it seems like it's gonna be heavily focused on Gojo's relationship with his friend from the first movie, Geto. Like the fact of like maybe how they grew apart, and maybe where he started being a little bit more evil. But Ramon, me and you before this recording, we were even talking about him because you thought he died in the movie, but then I was telling you like, no, he's still alive. You just now that you watch the movie, you can kind of see it in the season that he's like, hey, like we really got to keep my presence down. Like nobody can find out that I'm still around. And you even see that he has that scar around his head. So like something happened to him.
Kenjaku? He has a different name now too, though.
But that was my confusion, right? My confusion was like, wait, so after watching the movie, and then I'm just like, oh man, that is Kanjatu, right? But it's not the same name.
It's weird,
And then ultimately because of his scar, but the things that identify is right.
Too.
The personality's a little different, but I mean, he got beat senseless at the end of that, where like freaking the Rika and freaking Yuta like beat the crap out of him. So I don't know if it's something like that, like he was just so defeated, and then maybe like you said, Carlos, in order for him to bring himself back, he had to kind of go through a transformation. But I don't know with Kenjaku, like if it is the same guy, like why does he have that scar now? And he seems a little bit more comical, but it seems like they both have the same ultimate plan in mind, right? They both want to just let the curses, or I guess the sorcerers, rule the world. Curses and sorcerers rule the world, and everybody else like doesn't get to.
Do you think he's using this other name maybe because he's so into hiding himself? Again, it's just like that's the one thing I just picked up watching the season, that he's so about like, hey, be careful, and like my presence can't be known, and I gotta hide, and don't even talk about me. So like I do want to know more, and you don't really see how Gojo killed them. So I don't know if like Gojo straight up like cut his brain out, like took his brain out. I don't know if that's what they're hinting at with that scar, or his whole power was the whole like I want to absorb demons or spirits and become stronger. Like I don't know if there was like one super powerful spirit that he was maybe holding on to, or he made a pact with, like, hey, now that I'm dying, take over my body, but keep me alive in a small way, and like I'll give you my full body. I don't know. Like I want to see more of that. Um, I never felt like he was really, really strong or somebody that I should be scared of. I mean, maybe he was fighting like Itadori or some of the first class, but like I definitely Gojo can handle him. So I don't know if it's somebody that like now that he has a second, like different personality and like you said, a different name, maybe now he is meant to be like a completely different level. But I want to know more, like see more of him.
I just messed up. I just messed
Well,
up, and I read, and I was trying to read the description, and you don't want to know.
oh,
Yeah,
spoilers.
no spoilers. We'll keep it that way. But no. So then you talking about, okay, so definitely redirection. You talking about the new season? I did see the trailer, and I am very intrigued, right? Because he's Geto, right? He's supposed to be like another person that's supposed to be really strong, and along with Gojo, both of them are supposed to be like freaking awesome. And again, you talk about this relationship at the end of the movie that you see Gojo come out and be like, "Oh, that's my friend," and you share like this like brotherhood like bond with him, and you want to see that, right? And so like it makes me nervous that the season might be going like even further back than like the movie, and so we're going even more back than we are in this like first season of Jujutsu Kaisen. But it's like it's a story that I do want to know, and I guess that's with this whole story, this whole anime in general. I'm excited, right? Nothing's bored me yet. I still want to learn everybody. Like, there's still people that we haven't even talked about that I still want to understand. And from just like things that I've looked up by accident that I want to know more, like Panda. We haven't talked about Panda, right? Like, we still haven't met his third core, or yeah, his third core. We still haven't met his sister, right?
Yeah,
Because he also is another
she
one that
got
has like all these internal parts, and it's just like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like so yeah, like if you're telling me the next season will be about going back and seeing Gojo, maybe we'll find out why he's so freaking awesome. Or maybe he'll still just be like that Superman role and he's always been
yeah.
awesome and he was just came from another planet. Like who knows?
Like I guess if I have anybody that I'm really not sure if I should, take the time to learn their names or even understand them. But like the teachers, for example, the teachers look really cool, but I couldn't tell you the name from one to the another because I'm not sure if I should even care about these people or what their deal is. So maybe with that flashback scene and when I see them being like younger and more, I mean, maybe like more like is like open to talk about other things and show more of their personalities, maybe I'll grow attached to them. But like right now, like I mean some of them look cool, but I have no idea what they do or what their special things are or why they're teachers. So I don't know. That's the one thing that like I'm not taking any time to bother learning their names right now with.
No, I mean,
Yeah, I'm sure that they're strong. I'm sure that they're all at least like first grade or whatever. But yeah, like the teachers are like not really a big thing. The more than anything, the interaction with Gojo and then the teachers from Kyoto is probably more of a thing. And then I'm more interested to see because apparently there are like 30-year students that I don't think we've seen yet. And then
Oh damn.
I do want to get to know the more of the political part of the world
Yeah.
and kind of see like what these clans are about, and then kind of who the
Dude,
clans are and why they are how they
dude,
are.
normally I'm all about like an old, and I'm talking like that old man with the white beard. Like I'm like anime does that a lot, where it's like you have this very fragile looking old man, and ends up being like the most powerful in the whole group,
Hunter
or the one
Hunter,
you just
Bleach.
you just want to like run away from. But like in this one, like first of all, I don't know if I respect the fact that he was a guitarist, and like I'm like okay when
Yeah,
you
no, that was so
clearly
weird.
when you
And he's
started
the
maybe
principal too.
and he's the like I'm like I don't know man, it's just like clearly when you started maybe you were using a different instrument or maybe you have to adapt to like whatever music can give you more power, so hence why you need a guitar and the amplifier. But I don't know man, something about that again from a guy that loves his old
He's
man
a
in
bard.
anime. Like I don't like anything about him. Like go just shoot, just like kill that guy.
that was just a random ability that threw me off. Yeah, you're right. Now that
Hmm.
just threw me off. Like everybody else, even with freaking Maki's sister and her revolver, like You know, I love, and I love what she does with the revolver, and even that I was like, oh, she's using the gun, like that's kind of why, like, you know, you have other abilities and things you can do. But then he busts out his guitar, and then he's like, I'm an amp. Yeah, he's like, and I'm an amp, right, basically. But then it's like, I don't know, it's just like, yeah, I guess like he was an old man who did not prove to be wise and cool like that, you know? And he's pretty annoying though. He did want Itadori dead, so fuck that guy.
Yeah, he's the girl from My Hero.
Oh yeah, there's somebody in My Hero. Yeah, you've seen, you know who he's talking about. But no, yeah, like he was the one that also like I didn't care about, and you know, again going back to that Bleach thing, you'll see a really good when we talk about Bleach, Ramon. You'll see a really old man that can actually like fuck. This old man, like I just don't need more of him, and like I'm done with him. And again, I respect the elderly. I respect the elderly, so don't attack me.
And musicians, it's not about musicians. It was just that combination of the both.
Oh man, I mean, anybody else that we haven't talked about? No, go ahead.
Yeah, what's his name? Kamo, the guy with the blood art, the archer who I thought he was blind, but then he's not blind. He just walks around with his eyes closed. But he had that really cool like blood ability where he's able to basically like manipulate things using his blood bending. No, like he was really cool too. I'm just kind of like sucks. It's like as you meet some of these people, and I guess you're putting them in this like competition setting, and you're seeing who's better than who. But in reality, like I don't know, like I don't feel like any of these guys besides Toto really like excites me more. Like I do want to see them more, and I want to see them like in action. But like even what's his name, Makamaru, or like the machine guy, like he had a kind of cool story for a second. But I think again, I was, and it's not just because him and Panda were fighting, but I like Panda's story better, even though he is a cursed like corpse or I forget what they're called.
Like even
like a doll. Like this other guy sounds just like Pain, right? Like he's just sitting in a corner somewhere, like in a bath of like whatever fluids and
or like Invincible or too.
Sorcery.
Invincible.
Invincible,
yeah. So it's like I feel like that trope's been done with, and I don't know how much I can expect from like an Iron Man, and I'm sure he'll do something cool. I mean, Pain was freaking cool, but like he didn't really leave a lot for me wanting. I did think it was funny when they turned him into the pitcher.
The pitching machine.
That episode threw me off because we talked about this anime being one like really no fillers, right? But I don't think it was like a filler per se, but it definitely just felt really random, a little out of place. But to be fair, filler energy for sure, but I think it was really enjoyable. It went by so quick. I was really excited to see with all those powers, because you would imagine, right? Put freaking Naruto in different teams in that kind of scenario, who will win? I don't know. That's different. Like you have jutsus and all this stuff, but like you My Hero Academia with people with crazy abilities, like who does win in those scenarios? So it was really fun to see who would ultimately get a home run or something else. But of course, it was Itadori.
Yeah, no, dude, I kind of feel like it's my son like asking me, because he'll ask me these questions like, who would win in a fight, this person or this person, Naruto or Itadori or whatever.
Yeah,
dude, I did like the it made me laugh when they knocked Toto out with like a baseball, and then everybody was like, man, like everybody freaking just hates you, Toto.
Everybody's like, good job, good pitch, and then freaking Itadori's like, everybody hates you. Like, what the?
Dude, but it's so cool with him, like the idea that like, you know, his clapping and how he can confuse you, the idea that you're always just thinking like after a clap it's gonna teleport, and you don't know what's gonna come, because it can be objects, it can be like a person. I think there's a lot of like skill to that, and I think he shows it's so funny. He says like my IQ is like 500 or something ridiculous, but at the end of it, I do sense that he is a very smart character, because he even explains in Todori like how to like handle himself, or how to like improve his power, or how like he's disappointed that he's not at this level. So I liked him. Again, Toto could have really been somebody you did hate, but I ended up just loving him so much.
Yeah. And it doesn't stop there, because he does give, not just besides him teaching Itadori more stuff, but like I think he earns him respect just through his ability, right? Because remember when freaking Toto and Fushiguro like fought, everybody was impressed that at least he was able to kind of withstand Todo a little bit. But then when you find out that Todo and freaking Itadori are fighting, everybody's gonna know. It's like, well, shit, if he can hang with Todo, then he's great and he's strong. And well, even the fact that they designated Itadori to fight Todo already goes to tell you that the team already thinks that he's really strong and that he's gonna be a good opponent. But then to actually see him have that level of like fighting ability, and then now that Toto's kind of guiding him, that was pretty great. So I mean, I don't know. I think my ultimate like excitement for this show and this like anime in general is just the fact that I do like Itadori, so I do want to see him grow. You see him grow already through a lot. Like I'm excited to see what happens with the more fingers he consumes, because right, so far I've only counted 3 fingers, right? That he's eating the first one.
Well, he only knows about 3, but I think he ate 1 when the other dude was in power over him.
Well, they were also
really?
They were also joking in the final episode where it's like, "Hey, I'm so tired. Can you hold this? Wait, I don't know if you should hold it." And then he tries to hold it, and then the mouth eats it.
Yeah.
So I had counted 3 there, but you might be right, Raul, because I mean, there's a couple times that I'm like, again, you just watching this, but I don't know. I'm excited to see how he grows with it, right? Remember the pack that freaking they
I was going to say that, with Sakuna. How is that going to play out? He's so stupid for making that.
Well, he can't even remember anymore. He doesn't even know he made that pack. He's still trying to make another pack when he was trying to save freaking the one dude, Junpei. That is just one of those things that it's like, how is he going to use it, right? Because it didn't seem like a non-violent request of Sukuna, where he was just like, at this point or whenever I say this, sneaky. I take over the body for like a whole minute. And then he even said, but not to kill anybody. He's like, I promise I won't kill anybody. I won't do anything like that. So what is he planning? Like, that's a good question. So I'm really excited. Like, I'm excited to see how he grows. And then just in general, as they meet other like, plausible, like crazier curses, or all the curses together, or you find out more exactly about what's going on with that ultimate plan to get his body. Like, I don't know. It's exciting.
I did like when Mahito like went inside his like spirit, and then he's like, I already warned you one, like, I already gave you the warning, like not again. And it's like totally fucks him up. It's like, again, I don't want to downplay that he's not going to be a very interesting bad guy, because again, there's all these levels. And again, the whole, like, I'm going to take that 1 minute away from you and do whatever, like it is going to be interesting. And even the main spirits, like their whole plan is to like collect enough fingers where they can have him work with them, like hold them against him. But they even say like he might not go for that, because he's just such a, like, he's his own thing, his own boss. Yeah, selfish. He doesn't even care about that. That's gonna be. Yeah, you.
I do like his like his forearm form, like when they showed him a couple times, because even when they were like, 20 fingers, it's like, wait, what? Like 20 fingers, and then they explained that it was because of 4 arms, not because of like fingers and toes. No, like, I don't know. I mean, he, again, I don't always mean to demean this and always say like Naruto, but like he does remind me of Kurama a little bit, like the same kind of like energy where he is like a negative being, sort of speak, but maybe he's just understood. I don't know. Maybe he'll come out and be pretty cool. Maybe he just wants to like dance a little while when he takes over Itadori's body. He's just doing something goofy on the side.
1 minute exactly.
1 minute, I'm gonna just dance.
I mean, as much as we love this first season, do you think the show ended up on a good note? I know like the last 3 episodes were like, I like some of the backstory that we got with the main, his what is it, the shadow guy, his Fushiguro. Yeah, like I like some of the backstory we got with his sister, him going to school, but I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if that was the way to end the season, because he left me in a way where like almost thinking like, was that it? Like, it almost, all the goodwill the show had built up, like those last episodes didn't do anything for me to be like, oh my god, that was great. What a way to leave it. But I did like him, and I did like the backstory to those spirits, and I think they could have been like a very well told story like in the middle of the season, but just the fact that it was at the very end, like I don't know if I really love that about it.
Yeah, I agree, because they should have ended it with freaking Hanime, or the forest like curse, because that was a great fight. That was a great story overall. But at the same time, though, now you're adding another major curse to the whole mix, right? Because you have the third brother is still alive, and he was pretty pissed off, because I don't know if they were playing like life or something, like Mahito, him, and the other dude, and then he feels that they're like freaking dead, like he breaks it, and then but the whole idea is like now you have another curse that's going to be like pissed off at freaking Itadori and all of them because, so more bad guys to fight them. Yes, maybe it wasn't the best way to end the season, but I think but now we also know kind of a little bit of what the second season will be about. So we'll see. I don't know, man. Hopefully this leads into some crazy, crazy stuff.
Another demon, it might be Fuchiguro's sister. He says that like this demon or this spirit went around cursing people in similar ways. The reason why she's in a coma and won't wake up. So I wonder that's even more almost like a key in the Gun Devil. Like he's trying to figure out like who cursed my sister so I can break that curse. So that's hopefully something that
wasn't that all part of the bridge thing?
I don't think so. The bridge thing was like it's complete. Like that was the door opening demon that would kill you with the moles. Like this was like another thing that she got cursed by.
So on top of her being cursed, she was gonna die by another curse.
Double curse.
That's what I didn't like about that. And I'm like, he had a better save her because she's already like freaking in a coma through a curse, and now you're telling me some curse is gonna show up and just be like, you're dead. Well, she's basically already in a curse. But yeah, you're right. I mean, besides doing that of him, them explaining a little bit more about his sister, I think there wasn't too much that I don't know. It just wasn't that crazy exciting.
Well, guys, I feel like I'm done. That was my shadow dog jutsu. I feel like I'm done, man. I feel like we did everything we said. Again, if you haven't seen Jujutsu Kaisen, do yourself a favor and watch it because I think it is a great anime that gives you everything that you want in an anime. Action, great characters, great animation. They don't sexualize women, which I really like that about it. If anything, empowers them. But yeah, like, please do yourself a favor. But if you guys want to say anything before we say goodbye, feel free to say it.
No, I mean, I feel like there's tons of things we forgot, but we're going to get to talking about the new season soon enough. So I'm sure anything that we've forgotten today and anything we can elaborate on, I'm excited to. Like, again, it's just the fact that we're going to be able to go over there together. It's pretty cool.
All right. Well, I'm using Go ahead.
I will say one thing about I guess the current situation of things. It's interesting that we are covering this, but we don't even like mention Secret Wars or anything like that with Marvel because like the state of the superhero world is different than the state of anime currently.
Yeah.
This has some solidarity behind it, though. I can stand behind this. Another day we'll attack the rest of the world with Marvel.
No, bro, you interrupted me as I was doing my mariposa jutsu, but I'm flying away. Okay, so I'll see you guys. All right, have a good one. Talk to you guys soon. Bye. Oh, that was way better.